It is June 1984, 40 years since D-Day. On the beach at Omaha, under a grey French sky, the veterans have come back. They are old men now, in their 60s and 70s, and they stand where they once waded through water and bodies and fire. Some carry flowers, some carry photographs. All of them carry something that 40 years has not taken from them. And moving among them, through this crowd of men who stormed one of the most fortified coastlines in history, is a short man in his early 70s. Slight build, glasses, a hesitant manner. He looks, if anything, like a retired accountant on a package tour. The veterans are queuing to shake his hand. He wasn't here. Not on June 6, 1944, not anywhere near it. He never fired a shot. He never wore a uniform. He spent the war in a semi-detached house in North London. Two objects sit side by side on a table. An Iron Cross, Germany's highest military decoration, and a member of the Order of the British Empire, awarded to the same man for the same operation. Only one side knew it. This is the story of Juan Pujol García, and to tell it properly, we have to start with the chicken farm. Barcelona, 1912. Juan Pujol is born the third child of a factory owner into a household with liberal politics and no particular historical destiny. He's not a distinguished student. He is not a natural soldier. He is conscripted into the Spanish Civil War and contrives, by his own later account, to fight for both sides without firing a bullet for either. He emerges from that experience with something that will prove more useful than a military record: a deep personal loathing for totalitarianism and a talent for being simultaneously inside two opposing realities while belonging to neither. After the Civil War, he manages a hotel in Madrid. His formal credentials consist in their entirety of a certificate from the Royal Poultry School of Arenys de Mar. He is, in every visible sense, nobody. When the Second World War begins, this nobody makes a decision. He will spy against Nazi Germany for Britain. He has no contacts in intelligence, no experience, no language beyond Spanish and a little French. He simply decides, entirely on his own, with no encouragement from anyone, that this is what he will do. He goes to the British Embassy in Madrid and offers his services. He is turned away. He tries again. Turned away. A third attempt. Turned away. Britain has looked at this balding, bespectacled, failed hotel manager and concluded there is nothing here worth having. It is one of the more expensive personnel decisions of the war. Rejected, Pujol revises his approach. If the British won't take him without proof, he will get proof. And the only way to get proof is to go to the Germans first. He constructs a false identity, a pro-Nazi Spanish official, well-placed and willing to travel. He approaches the Abwehr, German military intelligence. After some hesitation, they bite. They give him a crash course in espionage, invisible ink, a code book, money, a code name, Arabelle. They instruct him to travel to Britain, build a network of agents and report back. He does not go to Britain. He goes to Lisbon, takes a room in a hotel in Estoril, and opens a tourist guidebook. Pujol visits the Lisbon Public Library. He obtains a Spanish translation of a Frommer's Guide to England. He finds maps, railway timetables, magazines, newsreel programs. And from this material, from the reading table of a Portuguese library, he begins to construct an entire British spy network. The network grows. At its peak, it will number 27 sub-agents. Among them, a Swiss banker in London, a Portuguese courier, and a Venetian dock worker stationed in Glasgow, who, Pujol reports faithfully to his Abwehr handlers, will do anything for a liter of wine. Glasgow, where wine was nearly impossible to find, where a liter of it would have made a man conspicuous across 3 city blocks. The Germans don't notice. They are delighted. Their agent is building exactly what they asked for. The expenses Pujol submits are itemized from a British railway guide. Actual fares, listed in pounds, shillings, and pence, a currency system he doesn't fully understand. He solves this by never totaling the columns. The Germans read the itemizations and pay up without question. He claims to be traveling around Britain. He's at a desk in Estoril. He claims his network is running intelligence on military installations across England. The agents don't exist. The installations are from a tourist map. And then, in 1942, he makes what looks like a mistake. He invents a convoy. He describes it in enough operational detail that the German Navy dispatches ships to intercept it. The ships search the designated sea lanes. They find nothing. Because there is nothing. The convoy doesn't exist. Somewhere in British intelligence, an analyst notices that the German Navy has just chased something that wasn't there. Someone has been sending the Abwehr fictional intelligence from Britain. Someone with an invented network. Someone making the kind of errors you make when you've never actually been to the country you're reporting on. They come looking. They find a short man with slicked back dark hair and warm brown eyes and a slight mischievous glint in a hotel in Lisbon. Britain, who had turned him away 3 times, now brings him in. April 1942. Pujol arrives in England. His code name changes. Cyril Mills, his first case officer, decides the man who convinced the Germans that a fictional convoy was worth hunting deserves a name equal to his talent. He renames him after the greatest actor in the world, Garbo. Mills then passes the case to a Spanish-speaking MI5 officer named Thomas Harris. Son of an English father and a Spanish mother, an art dealer by trade, a man who can move between Pujol's world and the British bureaucracy without friction. They will work together for the rest of the war. The operational base is a 2-story 1920s semi-detached house at 35 Crespigny Road, Hendon, a modest residential street in North London, indistinguishable from 10,000 others. Net curtains, a small garden. The wireless transmitter is inside, operated by Charles Haynes, who will spend years sending encrypted messages across the channel to Nazi Germany, a few hundred yards from the nearest fishmonger and post office. What Garbo and Harris build at that kitchen table over 6 to 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, has no real precedent in the history of espionage. 315 letters to a post office box in Lisbon, averaging 2,000 words each. 27 fictional sub-agents, each with a backstory, a purpose, and expense account. Some of them, eventually, need obituaries. The Germans receive news of these deaths and send condolences to widows who don't exist. The Germans are not merely believing this. They are relying on it. So completely, in fact, that they stop trying to recruit actual spies in Britain. Garbo's network is so efficient, so comprehensive, so responsive that the Abwehr sees no need. Their entire intelligence picture of the United Kingdom is, without their knowledge, a British production. In 1943, the Germans ask for faster communication. Garbo obliges with a fictional radio operator. For radio contact, the Abwehr supplies their best-hand encryption. Pujol passes the system to Bletchley Park. The trust Germany has placed in a ghost network has now given Allied code breakers a window into German communications. The deception is feeding itself. But before D-Day, there is a rehearsal. It establishes a template. In November 1942, one of Garbo's sub-agents on the River Clyde reports a convoy of troop ships departing port, painted in Mediterranean colors. British intelligence delays the letter long enough that it arrives after the Operation Torch landings in North Africa are already underway. The Germans receive it too late to act. Their reply comes back. "We are sorry they arrived too late, but your last reports were magnificent." They believe their agent tried to warn them and was defeated only by the postal service. Garbo's credibility rises. The technique is filed. Accurate intelligence, deliberately timed to be useless, sent to confirm the source. The same move will run again, at far higher stakes. The greatest threat to D-Day does not come from a German counterintelligence officer. It comes from a homesick Spanish woman who hates British food. Araceli González de Pujol has been confined to an MI5 safe house with an infant son and a husband she barely sees. She is furious about the weather, the rationing, the wartime British cuisine with its too much macaroni, too many potatoes, not enough fish. She is confined, lonely, and far from home in a country that barely acknowledges her existence. One day, she tells Thomas Harris exactly what she's going to do. She is going to the Spanish embassy, the words as MI5 files record them. Even if they kill me, I'm going to the Spanish embassy. MI5 places a watch on the building. The Spanish embassy in wartime London is not neutral ground. It is a back channel that could compromise the entire Garbo operation within hours of a walk-in from the agent's own wife. Harris and Pujol devise a solution of characteristic theatricality. They stage an arrest. The following day, Araceli is driven, blindfolded, to an MI5 interrogation facility in West London. The door opens. Her husband is inside, unshaven, wearing prison clothes, looking as though he has been there some time. She recants immediately. Everything she said, she didn't mean. Everything she threatened, she was wrong to threaten. She vows, according to Harris's later written account, that if her husband is only released, she will help him in every way to continue his work with even greater zeal than before. Harris noted that throughout the exercise, she was treated firmly, but with every respect. The crisis passes, the operation continues. But for a matter of days, the question of whether D-Day would succeed had been one woman's homesickness away from an entirely different answer. January 1944. The Germans tell Garbo they believe a large-scale Allied invasion is coming. They need to be kept informed. They have no idea what they are asking. Operation Fortitude is assembling, the largest, most elaborate theatrical production in the history of warfare. Its purpose, convince the German High Command that when the invasion comes, it will come not at Normandy, but at the Pas-de-Calais, the shortest crossing, the place where the strongest German formations are waiting. To do this, the Allies construct a threat so convincing it immobilizes those formations in the wrong place, while the real landings establish a foothold 200 miles to the west. They build a ghost army. The first United States Army group, FUSAG, exists on paper, in radio traffic, in inflatable rubber tanks positioned in fields across Kent, in dummy landing craft moored in harbors along the southeast coast. In the tunnels beneath Dover Castle, British and Canadian signalers work 8-hour shifts around the clock, 7 days a week, transmitting encrypted fake radio traffic across the southeast of England. They don't know what they're sending. But the volume and pattern of it looks, to any German intercept station, exactly like an army preparing to cross the Channel. At the head of FUSAG, the Allies place the one Allied general the German High Command genuinely fears, George S. Patton. Patton is photographed at fake command posts. He visits units that exist only as props. He is performing his own reputation for an audience that is never supposed to survive the war. Through all of this, Garbo transmits 500 radio messages between January and June of 1944. Sometimes more than 20 per day. 62 of his reports incorporated into OKW intelligence summaries. Not filed, not noted, but used. When Berlin thinks about Allied intentions, it is thinking with information composed in substantial part at a kitchen table in Hendon. But the deception alone is not enough. For what is coming on June 9th, something else must be in place. The lock must exist before the key can turn. 2 German field marshals and a Führer are building the lock themselves. Rommel, commanding Army Group B, believes the invasion must be defeated at the waterline in the first hours. He wants the Panzer reserves close to the coast. Von Rundstedt wants them held inland, deployed once the main landing is confirmed. Hitler imposes a compromise that satisfies neither man, a central position, but the reserves cannot be released without the Führer's personal authorization. No movement under any circumstances without Hitler's explicit order. The army that might stop D-Day can only move when one man says it can move. June 5th, 1944. A storm is raging along the entire French coast. German meteorologists have examined the conditions and concluded that no invasion is possible. Not today, not for days. Rommel boards a train for Germany. It is his wife's birthday. The senior commanders of the 7th Army, assigned to defend Normandy, travel south to Rennes for a war game, far from the coast they are meant to protect. Hitler goes to bed. What the German forecasters have missed and what Allied weather forecasters have found is a break. A window beginning around midnight when the storm relents. Not calm, but possible. In the darkness of the English Channel, 5,000 ships are moving east. Above them, 10,000 aircraft. Already, paratroopers of the 82nd and 101st Airborne are on the ground behind the beaches, in the dark, in the hedgerows of Normandy. 150,000 men are crossing the Channel in the largest seaborne assault in the history of warfare. And in a house in Hendon, a message goes out. Garbo transmits a warning to his German handler. He has learned, from his network, from his sources, that the landings are imminent. Normandy. Tonight. The message is genuine. The timing is not. Pujol and Harris have calibrated it with surgical precision. It arrives after the ships are already visible from the French shore. The Germans receive it and can do nothing. But they now have something they need even more than advance warning. Proof that their agent tried. He risked his network. He risked himself. Only the speed of events defeated him. When dawn comes and the beaches of Normandy erupt, Garbo's credibility is not damaged. It is ironclad. By early afternoon, Rommel's chief of staff has been trying for hours to release the Panzer reserves. He has been told, repeatedly, that Hitler is asleep and no one dares wake him. When the order finally comes, at 14:30, the armored divisions move in daylight in full view of Allied air power. The moment has passed. The foothold holds. June 9th, 1944. 2 in the morning. 3 days after D-Day, men are still dying in the hedgerows of Normandy. The beachhead is established but fragile. 200 miles to the north at the Pas-de-Calais, the German 15th Army has not moved. It is the finest collection of German formations in France. If it comes south now, what is happening on those beaches may yet go the other way. Garbo sends a message to Berlin. Its argument is built from every piece of credibility that 3 years of fiction have purchased. The units of Fusag, Patton's army, did not participate in the Normandy landings. Garbo's network has confirmed it. The divisions are still in position. The equipment is not moving. The conclusion is clear. Normandy is a diversion. The real blow, the main invasion, the one Germany has been watching assemble all spring, is still coming. It is coming at the Pas-de-Calais. The message moves up the chain. The German reply arrives. All reports received in the last week from Arabelle undertaking have been confirmed without exception and are to be described as especially valuable. General Jodl accepts the assessment. Von Rundstedt, who had in fact correctly identified Normandy as the real landing, is overruled. Hitler, told what he needs to hear by the source he trusts most, gives the order. The 15th Army stays. 2 armored divisions and 19 infantry divisions remain at the Pas-de-Calais. They wait through June. They wait through July. They are waiting for Patton, for Fusag, for the real invasion. They are waiting for an army that exists only in radio traffic and rubber tanks in English fields and in the transmissions of one man at a kitchen table in North London. The Allies had hoped the deception might hold those reserves in place for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of breathing room while the beachhead consolidated. They got 7 weeks. Battle-hardened divisions, some of the finest German formations available, sitting north of the Seine, waiting for a ghost. While 200 miles to the west, the defining battle of the war in the west was fought and won on ground those divisions never reached. Britain's official military historians, when they assessed what would have happened if those divisions had moved south in June, chose their words carefully. They said the German forces would have tipped the balance. They said the Allies might have been driven back into the sea. The decision was made at 2 in the morning on June 9th in a message from a man who had started the entire operation uninvited in a hotel room in Lisbon with a tourist guidebook and a pen. The Iron Cross arrives on July 29th, 1944. Adolf Hitler believes he is decorating his most loyal British spy, the man who tried to warn Germany before D-Day and whose network remained intact and operational. He is decorating the man who kept his best armies standing idle while the beachhead consolidated. The OBE follows on. November 25th. Awarded to Juan Pujol García, the same man, the same operation. Germany's gratitude and Britain's for the same lie. Paid to the same person. Pujol, the MI5 files note, found this funny. He was probably right to. After the war, he waits. Then, in 1949, he does what he has always done. He invents a story. He fears reprisals. Former Abwehr officers, networks that don't dissolve at armistice, men who know the name Arabelle and what it means. With MI5's help, he moves to Angola, and he dies. Of malaria. The death is fabricated. His wife Araceli is told he is gone. He is not gone. He crosses the Atlantic to Venezuela, takes a new name, remarries, has 3 more children, and opens a bookshop in Caracas. For 39 years, the man who held the German 15th Army in place sells books in South America. He is unknown. The veterans he never met have no idea who he is. The world he helped make does not know his name. Tomás Harris, his partner, the half-Spanish art dealer who sat across that Hendon kitchen table for 3 years, does not live to see any of it. In January 1964, his car leaves the road in Mallorca and strikes a tree. Harris is killed. His wife survives but cannot explain the sudden slide. Police find nothing wrong with the vehicle. Intelligence historians note Harris's connections to circles that included Kim Philby. Some have suggested the KGB had reason to silence the man who knew more about British deception operations than almost anyone alive. No conclusion has ever been reached. The possibility hovers, unresolved, that the architect of the West's greatest deception may have been himself the subject of one. History has carried that question for 60 years without an answer, and may carry it indefinitely. In 1984, a British writer named Nigel West, working from information Harris had left behind, finds the bookshop in Venezuela. He finds the old man inside. He finds, still alive and still in possession of his slight, mischievous expression, the man the world had been told was dead. There is a book. There is official recognition. There is, at Buckingham Palace, a ceremony long overdue. And there is Omaha Beach. June 1984, 40 years after. An old man in his early 70s stands at the water's edge where, on the morning of June 6, 1944, the first wave came ashore under fire. He is short, slightly built, wearing glasses. He looks like nobody in particular. The veterans line up to shake his hand. They know now what they could not have known then. Wading through surf and smoke and the bodies of the men who went in before them, they know that 200 miles north of this beach, 19 infantry divisions and 2 armored formations were standing still, waiting for a ghost army because of a message sent at 2 in the morning by this man. They know that the 7 weeks Germany gave them, instead of the 2 the Allies had dared hope for, came from a kitchen table in Hendon and a tourist guidebook in a Lisbon library. Juan Pujol García died in Caracas on October 10, 1988. He was 76 years old. He had lived in anonymity for 39 years after the war, in a country that had no idea what he had done. He had fought for both sides of the Spanish Civil War without firing a bullet for either. He had been rejected by British intelligence 3 times before building the operation that kept 2 armored divisions and 19 infantry divisions away from Normandy for 7 weeks. He had received Germany's Iron Cross and Britain's OBE for the same lie. He had faked his own death, sold books for 4 decades, and returned once to a beach he had never seen, to meet the men whose lives he had never told anyone about protecting. He found most of this funny. On the evidence, he was correct.